checking out. Kevin McCarthy got his behind thrown out. That whole thing with Matt Guice, that whole thing in DC is just a mess. Jim Jordan wants to be the next speaker. You always wonder, like, if these cats and these people were doing the speaker, would they have stayed pat and wanted a shutdown, which I do believe is going to come. Kevin McCarthy knew he knew that he couldn't ride both sides of the fence. They couldn't wait to get his behind out, which they did. No time that they want to pass laws and get stuff done, got his behind up out there. So, um, it's just one of them things that you knew that was bound to happen. That's going to be real interesting with the whole thing with Congress and all that. That's definitely going to be something that's going down. So you're going to see how that turns itself out. I'm also talking about these baseball playoffs. I watched a little bit of it. Being a baseball fan, stuff like that. Checked out what was happening with that. Uh, I still tripping about that Bryce Harper sliding through going through his back, third base coach sign. That was used to be an offense. They get you behind bench or you have to come out of pocket. It's old school baseball come out of mind. Mine made me think about it. So that's going to be interesting. People talking about, uh, I'm seeing stuff about, obviously before the San Francisco Dallas, they're talking about the football game. That's coming Sunday night. Brock Purdy, some people question how good he is. All I wanted to address with that is all these quarterbacks, Oh, okay. Got it. Someone gave me a comment. What's happening? And how you doing? What I think about the Eagles. They haven't even played their best ball yet. They are winning. I'm not crazy about their coach. I kind of made that click there. Sticks around kind of a bit much. But Jalen Hurts, like, they almost fly under the radar. They're 4-0. And they won 4 different ways. It's crazy how they win. They defense wins, the special teams, they offense. They win in different ways. They're kind of underappreciated. If you want my personal opinion, I think the Eagles are underappreciated. Obviously, I think Frisco's the best team. Win or lose against Dallas, unless Dallas goes there and gives them all that smoke, Frisco's the best team. But Jalen Hurts, I'm telling you, the Eagles are going to be there. And he's a bad man. He's a bad man. Thanks for that question. I like the Eagles a lot. And believe me, they're anywhere between the one or second best team in the NFC. That's how I feel about it. And I do believe, you cancel out with one player here or there. One situation, one team, they got a chance to stand there. Yeah, I like Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is the truth. I think that he's almost underappreciated. I believe me, his poise, his depth, his energy. Um, it was 20 years ago when Don McNabb looked like he was something. He was going to all those NFC Championship games and went to one Super Bowl with Andy Reid. But Jalen Hurts is on another level. And for Bama quarterbacks, when you look at what has happened with Matt Jones and some others, Jalen didn't make the school credible. I mean, he just gets it. What's up, Ted? What's happening? What's happening? How you living? How you doing? Good to see you up in the house. Good to see you. So yeah, football been interesting, but there's been a lot of sorry butt quarterbacks out there and sorry butt teams. So when you see a quarterback that can bring it, you're not going to hold back. And I'm definitely giving Jalen due. Dak is trying to come across someone that he ain't, because he really can't handle the pressure. And this game is so huge for him. Dak is, like I said, Dak is one of those guys. He's a good quarterback. He ain't great, and he ain't average, but he's in between. But he plays for Dallas, and that carries all kinds of stars and banners and all kinds of things. So, yeah, he do. Yeah, Michael Irvin came out and said it. And Keyshawn, all that. It's true. Skip Bayless said, talking about a 5, yeah, whatever. And he loses to Frisco, they in his head. And one of the things about Dak is that while he stat pads against good teams, he has a hard time beating legit teams. And I just don't see it. What happened with that episode and preseason, even when they were doing practicing at Cowboys camp, and he got dissed. Um, he has to really step his game up, and I don't know. I don't know if Trey Lance. I don't know if Trey Lance gonna bring in the heat to make him step. I don't know, but Dak to me is just a step off. Frisco's tough to beat. I mean, I'm not the biggest. I'm not the biggest Kyle Shanahan fan because I think that hey, come postseason, you gotta win a ring. You've been to one Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo and he overthrew Emmanuel Sanders. How you do that? I still ain't figured that one out. That ball's still out there floating somewhere. That ball got lost in the stars, just like that ball that Barry Bonds hit against the Angels 21 years ago in the World Series. They ain't came down. You overthrew Emmanuel Sanders, and Jimmy G wasn't the same. And then you get stuck with Trey Lance, and then you got so. I like Purdy. Purdy don't make mistakes. He's really poised. He fits the system, and he's a good quarterback. He really ain't been tested like that, but anyway. Yes, yes, yes. Even as a Bills fan and Josh Allen's been balling, yes. Easy Ed Jr. McCaffrey is. I watched them play, and you know how much I got much respect for Debo. But this cat, oh God, this cat is on a whole nother level. It's like, are you even kidding me? It's like, wow. I can't even believe the things he's doing. Hold on just 1 second. I gotta hit this thing real quick. Hold up, hold up. Well, the white Marshall Falk. I gotta think of that for a moment. The white Marshall Falk. Marshall was more cut from the Barry Sanders, Thurman Thomas thing. McCaffrey is utilized in a way kind of like, I want to say more like a white version of Debo without the power, but kind of similar because they complement each other. He's a power runner. He's physical. And Marshall had some finesse to him. It's a little bit. I can sense it, but Marshall Falk was one of those backs that he was great in what he could utilize. I look at Marshall Falk kind of like a up. Dare I say? I'll say this. You can use that. I would say Marshall Falk. If you want to skip McCaffrey with Marshall Falk, I'd say they're like the black and white grandchildren of Roger Craig, his sons. I think I'll say it like that because to me, Roger Craig was the dude that started that style, that made it real popularized. The physical back who also happened to be 1,000-yard runner, 1,000-yard receiver, a guy that kind of like had that duality going on. That's a good call. Ricky Waters. Oh man. Ricky was physical, but he didn't have the commercialism. And what I mean by that is that he wasn't as romanticized. When he played with the Niners, for instance, or in Philly, he was always, they liked him and he was considered good, but he wasn't given that kind of notoriety. Like certain backs get this kind of cachet. See, Marshall was bigger in terms of popularity. Ricky was a guy that got some numbers, but he wasn't like seen as quite that dude, like that kind of flavor. And so we have discussions about where these backs rank all time and popularity and so on and so forth. It's different because you have situations where they are not held to the same standard. So Ricky, I like Ricky a lot. I was definitely a big, I like Ricky, but Ricky was not seen in the same vein. Actually, if you're on my honest opinion, thinking back in the day, Roger Craig didn't get quite all that notoriety either. So he was great, but he didn't get quite that notoriety. But yeah, this is a good call about Ricky Williams. That's when somebody definitely gone back on their football and definitely mentioning that. So that's a good call that you made right there. Also, I wanted to take the time to, because I haven't decided to do a video about it, but I wanted to send a rest in peace to Russ Francis, the former tight end for the New England Patriots and the 49ers, because he died in the crash. He was also known as a pilot, and I know that kind of caught me off guard when I saw the headline about that Russ Francis had passed. So that it definitely, got my attention with that. So talking about that. So yeah, but I just wanted to appreciate that you mentioned that about with mentioning Ricky, and good call about that. Definitely good call about that. Definitely with that. So yeah, those are some good comments on that right there with that. An interesting thing about Purdy, he was the last person drafted, so that was definitely, when you think about that, about them 6th-round draft picks, you know how some of those things are. So definitely cool. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff riding on this weekend in the NFL. Could be a real interesting, some movement. But what I've seen so far, there's been a lot of half-hearted mediocrity with quarterback, and just some of these teams are just kind of so. That's kind of how I look at it. But that's one thing about football. You can, football is the only sport, and it works in college too, that you can tolerate half-heartedness. But I just think it's mental mechanics more than anything. I think he's talented, like he can move left, right, and counter. But I just think that, for one of the things, especially with black quarterbacks, that you gotta have understanding when you see someone like a Michael Vick who actually had the pass and the throwing, he has never had the right receiver. When you see Patrick Mahomes who can pass, throw, and you see the system work, that you got to be able to be dual with it, And I mentioned brothers because being mobile, athletic, all that is like a requirement. White quarterbacks don't have to have all that. Your black quarterbacks use that's with the draft. And Deshaun Watson is a great example. Have all that. He makes some suspect passes and stuff. He's got that. Trey ain't really showed that. His certain passes, the way to lead the routes, leaves something to be desired. I think that he has talent. Like, obviously, he's athletic. But, you got to learn how to take something off the rock. You got to know how to, build more poise. Justin Fields is kind of like playing like wild card style, but he got something, I can definitely see Fields with a little something, and even Kyler Murray when he plays where he has accuracy. But Trey, I saw a pass that was showing me in the video, and he didn't leave his receiver inward enough, and so sometimes he tends to leave stuff outward, and he relies too much on his athleticism. I think that's when he learned how to play quarterback all the way with his arm and his motion. But I will say this, he ain't no bum. I wouldn't call him a bum because I think he can actually start. I think he could do as well as Daniel Jones do. Let me put it like that. Yeah, I haven't felt that Belichick was the best coach in the NFL for a while. I thought that, long-term guys who've been coaching for long. I think Andy Reid can make the case. I mean, come on now. Kansas City's camped out the AFC Championship game at the worst. So how do Andy Reid is like coming across the top of my food chain right now. Kyle Shanahan got to get to more Super Bowls. Andy Reid's been to 3. Kyle Shanahan's been 1. And he has not come up where he needs to. So I'm looking at that. And if I'm going in a regular last 5 so years, I'm going Andy Reid first. I always hold out for Mike Tomlin because what he does with Pittsburgh, considering what he's got going for quarterback and talent, and to still endure, I got respect for that. Stroud and Hughes, Texans, yeah, we'll see. Stroud, they looking pretty good. Could they be the Jacksonville Jaguars of this year? We'll see. It's a long season for some. They're going to be better than what they were. They'll be held accountable. But I don't know what I see in the big picture. Belichick's problem is that he relies on this old, antiquated system of thinking that, okay, I can put anybody here and do anything. That was just crazy last year with Matt Patricia and that other coach to come and be offensive coordinators and Mac Jones. Mac Jones isn't that good to begin with, and you don't need to add insult to injury by putting some cats around their jurisdiction to be as a coach. I mean, that's bad. Belichick's got too much ego and he's doing too much. He either got to get the GM duty or give up the head coaching duty, but he can't do both no more. And that's what the problem is. And no one respects them. They just look at them as a doormat. On offense, they're a joke. Defense, they got some parts, but their offense is horrible. And until they address the elephant, the quarterback, and until they, he's doing too much, doing too much. So, but he's a great coach. He's just that. Yeah, well, Miami's a one-trick pony. I listen, cats that could fly, and you just throwing that rock up there and they can run. Miami is a one-trick pony. If you give Tua, I was telling a buddy of mine, fellow Bills fan, and he understood where I was coming from. If you give him flying out with patterns, Tua looks scary. They can play zigzag, left to right, he's going to throw a pick. Because when you put the pressure on, Miami likes to be cute. They don't get punched in the mouth. And that's what happened. Because you can't tell me a team is legit when they score 71 week and then they get held. They hold one team to 20, they get held to 20. That's discombobulated. They're not a team. They're a team that's playing stats and they individualize. That's not team ball. I haven't been impressed by their defense. The offensive, they can hang with a lot of teams, but their defense does a lot to be desired. So, and to me, they look to outscore you, but they haven't really tightened up on the D. Yeah, Von Miller is healthy, and the Bills can get that last, what I call year to two out of him, where he still got some good squeeze and pop in him, then yeah, if they can get at least two out of him. But they got to be able to get two out of him. But I'm impressed with Sean McDermott is doing on the defense. To me, Sean McDermott right now, his defensive play calling has been spot on. They have not. They have. No matter if they're playing a whack team like Jets, a team that's kind of hit and miss like Washington, a team that's explosive like Miami, a team like the Raiders who are kind of like middle of the road. He can't. His play calling has been spot on. They definitely on defense the Bills, and so Von Miller comes along. He comes in and does his thing with what we're doing. Because I thought Milano and Jack Lawson been balling. So they got a good chance. I mean, they should have beaten Denver's behind on Sunday, and that was a big mark against their defense. Is horrible. Fields would be, yeah. Pickett ain't bad for Pittsburgh, but I don't think he's quite battle tested ready yet. I think Pickett's one of those kind of guys, maybe a backer role, but when you're playing in Pittsburgh, be sub 500 or barely scraping the bowl. Because Mike Tomlin, I respect him tenfold. So, yeah, Fields could go to Pittsburgh. He definitely better suited there. Definitely. But, yeah, they got a good chance. They stink. I mean, I don't know who's worse, them or Carolina. I'm looking, and I don't even know if New Orleans will win another game because they can't score no points. There's some really crappy teams. The Giants suck, too. There are some bad teams in the NFL that are just it get real ugly real fast. Cincinnati gonna be in that boat too if Joe Burrow gets hurt because he about one good pop and they're done. So I'm telling you, I'm looking at around the NFL. There's some sorry state of affairs at quarterback, some sorry state of affairs with the teams. It's some teams that got some pain on the offense. It pains you. It's like you have to pay me to watch their offense go on the field. That's bad. And I think Washington going to tear they behind them tonight, talking about Chicago. But I will say this, if Fields wins that game against Washington, then Washington looks like frauds. But Washington beat Chicago like I think they are. They have to consider, because I think then you have to tank for Caleb Williams. I think that's what Chicago's hoping for. Yeah, why they won't run with Burrow is beyond me. That arrogance and that smoke. Look, I think Burrow is one of the toughest quarterbacks I've ever seen. I will give him that, poised and cool. But this ain't the Fonz and this ain't Happy Days, and you can't thumbs up when you in pain. And obviously, Jamar Chase ain't lying. He ain't fit to be out there all the time. They need to sit him down because what they're doing is they losing if Derrick Henry got more touchdowns than you do, and he's throwing the ball sideways and he's out playing you, you're gonna have some dog dick when you gotta go against other real teams that can put points on you. Tennessee outscoring you about. Wait till you play against some other teams. It's a long year, not a good look. So no, I don't like what I see with that at all. I can't. Mm-mm. They're hurting that young man, and that's the kind of situation where he could be done. Yeah, I could give you that. Um, I think Jalen Hurts gets some nod in there. I think if Justin Herbert had a real head coach who wasn't Don Knotts, if that turkey wasn't Gomer Powell or Don Knotts, Mr. Furley, Herbert would be, because it's just stupid. And that's just saying. But I can understand those three. I feel about Mahomes. Mahomes is top three with me all time. Period. Only Brady Montana are ahead of him, as far as I'm concerned, because what he done his body work already. I don't need to see no more. Patrick Mahomes is like on that Tiger Woods, Steph Curry tip. He's changed. He's flipped the course in your eyes, just like Serena Williams did all that. Burrow, yeah, if he's healthy, because he's a tough dude, but he got to be healthy. And Josh. I don't think Dak gets hated in the media. I think Dak's problem is he just don't win come big games. I think the problem with Dak Prescott, he just doesn't come up with his money time. And that's the bottom line. And he's not romanticized like Tony Romo because he doesn't exude that type of charisma, and he's kind of meaty cat, but he doesn't, he's just that it's the same old same. And it's a sense like you can almost see what he's going to. Stevie Wonder can almost see what that Prescott can do from a mile away. It's now that I agree, but we see the story before. Remember last year they beat Tampa Bay and everybody like, ooh, and then they went to Frisco and he lost. He threw bad picks. You know, you just don't know what you're going to get with him. He's just too inconsistent. He's one of those kind of quarterbacks. He's rhythmic. His time is up. I think they're missing Ezekiel. They're missing a power game. That's what they're missing. See, they got pieces that just don't really fit. They got talent, but they're just not what I call a team. They're depending on Micah Parsons to come up with this big superheroes. As Shannon Sharp said it best, scoop and score and create turnovers. But if they got to play a full 60-minute game of football, they're not cut out for it. And if a team can't beat you in different ways, that's why Jalen Hurts gets my nod, why Philly is slept on and not getting their due, because they can beat you in different ways. Dallas can only beat you in one way. If they don't scoop and score and get turnovers and sacks and intimidate early, they're like that bully, like that fighter. It's kind of like the Mo Tyson fight. If they can't get you or hit your prep, knock you out 2-3 rounds, they're not going to be able to go the distance. They not that Larry Holmes or Vander Holt. They ain't cut for that long Jack Johnson, Ali bout. They not cut like that. And that's one of the things that's coaching, philosophy, and style. So I'm just saying, I haven't seen it. Whereas Patrick Mahomes, the DNA is different. But I don't see any similarities with him and Josh Allen, because Josh Allen is a better quarterback. Josh Allen has been MVP caliber. Dak Prescott, beyond his rookie year and part of his second year, I haven't seen that dude. And since then, I thought he was going to be like a black version of Ben Roethlisberger, big and stocky and talent, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't think they could beat both those teams. I don't think so. And I think that they know deep down those two teams are better than them are. I think that I hope they do, because to me, they don't have Philly's depth, versatility, and they don't have the 49ers power. To me, San Fran and Philly are the best two teams in the NFC. Dallas is in that argument, but Dallas is also one of those kind of teams because of who their coach is. Wouldn't even be surprised if someone like the Lions tore their behind up. I wouldn't even be surprised because I'm just not really sold on Mike McCarthy, and I don't trust Dallas. I don't trust Dallas. I don't really trust Prescott, but it is a big game for them. It's a biggie, and it can go. They have to depend on what got him there. But I have yet to really see him make a statement as a quarterback like that. He's had some games, but most of the time when he's stat padding and doing stuff, he's got the percentages and stats, but I haven't felt that they've been complete on offense. What's happening to Elder? Much respect, blessings to you. Glad to see you. Glad to see you, Baba. And I will check out your live stream next time you on. Make sure it got it all wired up because you know how these YouTube streets be. Yeah, they do. I like him. I definitely like him. I think Stroud's nice. They spanked Pittsburgh's behind. They tore their behind up. And some people I know who thought the Steelers Tomlin. I always like Mike Tomlin, coach Pinkett. But yeah, they put the defense. They waxed them. I mean, I was pleasantly like, whoa. And they spanked Jacksonville. So Houston, they deserve to be on the come up. But I'm glad to see the brother, the head coach, and hey, that division. I'm gonna be real with you. Jacksonville right now kind of look like they got a chance over there, but that division is open. That AFC South is open. If Jacksonville stumbles, Houston could get in there because I don't trust the Colts. I like Richardson and quarterback, but they still young and green. Houston is young and green too, but there is something about that. Definitely good call on that, Elder. Definitely good call on that one. I like them. I like what I saw so far. Yeah. Kid Cox is a real one. Always glad to get right on Elder for that, for sure. Definitely. 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 And I think like I said before, some of these quarterbacks are leaving a lot to be desired that's going on right now. So, you know. But yeah, you might get a sleeper team in and Houston definitely again, I pull for Deshaun Watson. I don't know, we're gonna see what happens in Cleveland. But I think it's good that Houston did go and get a young black quarterback, black head coach. Especially everything that was said by that owner and all that, and how that thing went down with DeAndre Hopkins and all that. So I'm glad to see that they are, you know, they're not that they keep their door open. You know, I used to live in Houston, and Houston wasn't what I call the most open-minded liberal place. So it's good to see that they're doing, at least on the sports side, that they are. This is good to see. Definitely, definitely, definitely. But I don't think, yeah, going back to that thing about Dallas, I don't think if they got to go through all that, they'll have a hard time. But they're at least anywhere from in that, third best team in the NFC because of what's going on in that division over there. Because the NFC is wide open. Once you get past the third slot, you got Detroit and maybe Seattle. I don't know. After that, it's anybody's guess. Minnesota's stinking it up. They've underachieved big time. Green Bay is still young. Don't really know what the forecast there. And the LA Rams, I can't get a gauge. So Washington, they kind of going through it. I think they need a quarterback. So hard to say. Hard to say. You know. Glad to see some heads in here. And it's always great to get the feedback. Some great folks up in here. Appreciate that. Much respect. Uh, you know. And like talking about football, like talking about anything that you like to talk about, because there's a lot going on. So, feel free. This is great. This is definitely great. Great to have you in here and whatnot. And we'll see if anybody comes through. Any more comments? Probably give it another 5 minutes or so if someone says something else. Yeah, good call, Elder. Um, they suck. I mean, I can't imagine 40 years ago when they had that Bears defense, they'd have had a Justin Fields instead of Jim McMahon. Do you know how many Super Bowls they could? I mean, they never had something like this. So the shy is definitely, it's definitely not happening. And they are atrocious. They should have beat Denver. They had a three touchdown. They were scoring points and blew that game. And Fields, yeah, he's still coming to his own, but he ain't the problem. I think they're tanking. I think they're gonna try another. I think they're gonna try. They don't have the right head coach. Their defense is atrocious, and it's just bad. It's bad. It's bad. And I've never seen Chicago be so horrible on defense because that was their bread and butter. If you grew up in a particular era, the Bears never had a quarterback, but you never saw them that is horrible with their defense. It's just dreadful, And to be honest with you, when Detroit's running things, the Lions look pretty good, but I don't know how good that, again, that North is. Minnesota's underachieving big time. I like Jordan Love in Green Bay, but that's a work in progress. That's gonna take a little time. So, but yeah, I like Justin Fields. I just think that again, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Jared Goff playing good quarterback. They believe in their coach. They believe in their system. And it's not like they don't have some pieces there. They might be the fourth best team in the NFC, so people might laugh and stuff. But you got to remember something. If Dallas, Frisco, and Philly all beat up on each other, Detroit's probably the next team, even though they lost that game to Seattle. But Jared Goff is battle-tested, and so they're a young, feisty team. I don't know how far they can go, though. I don't think they belong. They're the next tier down from them, but they definitely on the come-up. They definitely on the come-up. And to tell you something, if they had someone like a Megatron or a Barry Sanders there, it'd be scary. Top 5 right now? Let's see. Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, 2, 3. Who else could I pick on? You might be right if I'm thinking about it. Because right now, if I'm just going right now, because once I get past Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Tua, and then probably Goff. Yeah. I mean, he's poised. So you might be on it. I can't even argue with that because I'm trying to think, compartmentalize, because I'm doing a mentally shuffling. Unless Lamar Jackson has something to say about it, he comes up. And if you still believe in Justin Herbert, because I do believe in Herbert. So, but yeah, you got a point. Yeah, that's all. It depends if you go with Lamar, Herbert, Goff. If we go by the NFC, then depends on how you feel about Brock Purdy. So it's interesting debate. Tua, like I said before, if we're playing, playing route running, going like bombs, going forward, Tua. But if Tua gets caught in a half field game of football, he's gonna have some issues. Give me Dak and Lamar over Tua. I give you Lamar. I'm not sold on Dak like that. I give you Lamar because I seen Lamar. Lamar won MVP, and Lamar is one of my favorites. As a matter of fact, when Lamar came out of college, I was hoping the Bills would have got him before Josh Allen. I'm just gonna keep 100 at the time. Oh yeah, if he played with Miami, cosign Daps, because when he had that year, oh God, that 1 year, that game against the Rams. I mean, people don't understand. Like I look at Lamar Jackson, kind of like I look at thinking about James Brown in this context. It don't seem like it would go right and work because you got to have cadence and doing. But them sound like them things that he be doing. I'm looking at Lamar like he's the only cat I know who can really do that sound like play style, bring it to the pro level. and excel. He just doesn't have the right coach. If he had a coach like what Miami's got, oh buddy, he probably get another MVP. I'm big on Lamar Jackson. I did, and the thing is, he's the only cat. I did kind of feel Deshaun for a moment, but Lamar's the only one that that would be a battle with him, a real battle with him and Mahomes on a skill level. Now Burrow, poise and style wise, problematic. But if we talking about where we go at a mano based on our, acceleration and our versatility, Lamar more so than even Josh Allen because, well, I think they wanted a white boy. Aaron Rodgers is the golden boy. That's all I look at it as, and I do look at it racially. I'm sorry, but that's the only thing I think. Aaron Rodgers pushing 40. What is a quarterback almost 40 who ain't won a Super Bowl since before there was a thing called TikTok, before there was a thing called Snapchat, before there was a thing called Instagram? What is he gonna do? He hasn't won a Super Bowl and been in one over a decade. And he's choked in postseason games that ain't look that good. He's good enough during the regular season. He's basically what we put in the James Harden and some of these cats who stat pad and look good with a ring. I don't feel sorry for the Jets. They brought that on themselves. I would have gone after Lamar Jackson all the way before I go after Aaron Rodgers. That's just me. Because I haven't seen anything by Aaron Rodgers last few years where I say, okay, I go in on him. Because he looked bad in the postseason. They didn't even make the postseason last year. Lost to Detroit last game. And the year before they lost to the 49ers. And that was bad. And then that whole thing with Tampa Bay and not running by the goal line. So no. That one in 2014, I remember that game. Russell Wilson was horrible. He played like he was drunk. But Aaron Rodgers was even worse because he was scared of Richard Sherman, and then the way the game ended. So it was only fitting that Ross saw his recovery. He's had golden opportunities. He's been pampered, and white privilege, and I'm really tired of him. I really am. He's a great quarterback, and he's also overrated. And if I don't have to hear about Aaron Rodgers again and all these people slurping him, because I mean, yeah, you might be 2.0 John Elway, but you're just not really memorable. Not for the hype you get, you know. I really get tired of the Brokeback Mountain love affair with this turkey when they don't really do. They don't finish. That's all they do. Yeah, that 2021. I mean, you got Brady, and all you got to do, you got the goal line, and you scared. You just, I don't know. How they lost that game to Seattle is still mind blowing to me because Russell looked horrible. And all he has to do is halfway be okay. All he had to really do in that game, Aaron Rodgers, was be okay. And so it was par for course that they lost, you know. And like I said before, him and Mike McCarthy, again, Mike McCarthy, think about it, you Dak Prescott fans, there you go. But I'm not really, not really holding. Hold on just a second. I gotta check this. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Let's see. They just won't. Yeah, they won't. They won't. Aaron Rodgers got to go. I mean, I just don't get it. He's really not, because I mean, he's 40 plus and he's not going to do much. I just don't see it. Yeah, I hate to say it about Mike McCarthy because I look at him as a meathead. If you're familiar with Archie Bunker, remember Mike, the son-in-law, the meathead. That's what I call McCarthy all the time. But I hate to give him the Hall of Fame credit because I don't think. Do I look at Mike McCarthy better than Tom Flores, the Raiders coach who won 2 rings? No. Do I look at him better than um, um, the Giants? Uh, can't think of his name right now. Won 2 rings, beat the Patriots. No. So I mean, I'm like, Mike McCarthy had been in the right situations where Green Bay go to Dallas, but I just don't see it. But it's a fact. But yeah, mm, I hate to say this, but Christmas Carol won in SC and won in Seattle, and the fact that he got Geno Smith looking like Geno Smith is a top 10 like Christmas Carol gets some raw out you. So I can't say that about McCarthy. McCarthy did get fortunate with Aaron Rodgers, and his numbers are good. But the way Pete Christmas Carroll keeps finding a way to reinvent, like you can come off the quarterbacks and you've been to 2 Super Bowls because he's been to one more Super Bowl than McCarthy. And I would make the case been more impressive than McCarthy's situation. McCarthy's had more options and hasn't generated as much. And I don't like neither one of them because I think Christmas Carol's fake. But I will say this: that cat does enough to bedazzle you to get you through. So I got to give him just a tad bit more there. What's up, L? Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna draft a quarterback though. I think they're gonna really be sold on Aaron Rodgers. They're gonna try to wait that out. I don't think they'll draft. I think Caleb Williams is more aligned to Chicago or somewhere like that. Or something. It's gonna be something like that. But I don't think that. I don't think they're going to. I don't see that the Jets will do that. You know. I don't understand that. Okay. But Caleb Williams, I like what him and his father said. They don't want to be going to just any old janky team, and they want somewhere where they can win. And they said they will be in a good position. So that's the one I'm looking forward to seeing. I watched that SC game against Colorado, and yeah, you can comment about the play calling the coordinator for Colorado, which is true. But Caleb Williams was not being stopped by. He's every bit of the Heisman Trophy, and he looked good, and so But I think that um, the Jets won't do that though. They won't do that. And let's be realistic. If you look at their track record with drafting these quarterbacks out of college, they ain't exactly been that memorable lately. So I think they're going to ride Aaron Rodgers. But I don't think he's got a lot left in the system. I just don't. I think his tank is almost depleted. He's pushing 40, and he hasn't been, and that kind of injury that he had, you know, I'm not sold on their defense is good, but I think they need a head coach who can take them to another level. I don't think they got the right head coach. That's another story too. And I think the running game is good, but I'm just not sold on. I don't know, just not sold. And I don't think the Jets, they got that game over Buffalo. I think Buffalo gonna tear their behind up. They played feisty against Kansas City because Kansas City was out of characteristically out of character, but neutral site, I don't see it. I don't see it. And they are horrible. They are. They are. And you spend all that money on your defense, and you got to have the line, and the line is what wins you games. And that's one of the problems that they run into. They're able to run the ball in spite of that. But I think if they can get to being a 500 team, but all this expectations that they're going to do something after they hated on Zach Wilson and just called him trash, and they expected that And then you go and get Trevian Simeon. Trevian Simeon is what you dig about off the bulletin board to get as a backup. I mean, come on. Robert Salsa's tripping. And Joe Namath's drunk behind called out Zach Wilson. So when Broadway Joe says you suck and I don't want to watch you. But if they were about really focusing on the future, they would consider, getting a quarterback. They should have gone after Lamar. Well, Namath got that game in the Super Bowl against the Colts, so that alone, you know, Broadway Joe, all you gotta do is win one. It's like a great song, great movie. You do a one-time great TV show. You know how I go. Namath's career wasn't as memorable post that Super Bowl, but he won, and that's all you needed. I could say the same thing about Eli Manning. But he got them 2 Super Bowls, and he beat Brady and them, and he came up when it was clutch. Now, he ain't as revered as Joe Namath, but Namath came up big. You hit big, the right time, right place, and of course, everything in New York is threefold. So, and but Wilson, Wilson is trash. He is above. I mean, he played really well against Kansas City Sunday, but a lot of times, he's just garbage. He just throws bad pass. He's just not a focused. And it's like the Jets. Well, the reason why he got benched, but they kind of stuck with him, and I don't feel sorry for him. So, some of these guys gotta apply themselves when they're looking at the field. But when I look at Zach Wilson, I put him in the same bag as Mac Jones and Daniel Jones. Them clam chowder boys ain't got no juice. So, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? So, and as a Bills fan, I ain't feeling sorry for the Jets. I hear too much all these people slurping them. They must be watching a different TV set than I am, because I like their defense all right. The running game's all right, and they got a nice receiver and stuff. But I think the wrong head coach, and I just don't see that team as this. I don't see them as this team that's on the jump. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. So, kind of how I look at it. So, yeah. So I'm try to hang in here for about, I say, 2 to 12 more minutes, because it's been great. It had some good commentary. Great to see coming through here, and it's definitely been on one, definitely with some good stuff. If you are, by the way, if you're a music lover and you want a show to check out, I recommend these YouTube streets, Truth and Rhythm. Guy named Scott Goldman runs the show. Great interview. Got Nathan Watts, played with Stevie Wonder, bass player, played with the Jacksons. It's a great interview going on there on Truth and Rhythm. I want to give that a shout out, because I really enjoyed that episode a great deal with Nathan Watts. Played the bass on Stevie Wonder's I Wish, played on the bass on the Jacksons' Heartbreak Hotel. He got a great story to tell. And what I liked about it, too, I just want to address this real quick. In the interview, he gave Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, and Prince their flowers. It was very moving. So I just wanted to address that real quick about that. And I did a video already talk about Taylor Swift and her and this whole thing with Kansas City. This bit over the top. The NFL's trying to push this. They're trying to push it like she's Marilyn Monroe. And I don't know, Kelsey's supposed to be her Joe DiMaggio. I don't know what this is. This ain't nothing new with entertainers and athletes and all that. But this Taylor Swift thing is definitely a bit much, to say the least. I'm like, it's not worth all the cameraman time for somebody that most people don't even know 5 of her songs. And I'll just get off the record. When I've heard her music, if you're familiar with an artist named Juice Newton, playing with the Queen of Hearts back in the 80s, that's what Taylor Swift is like. She's not even Debbie Gibson memorable, but tell you, white hype, overrated, mediocrity. So that's been like the big thing. Yeah, it'd be one thing. Like, I'm just gonna talk about white singers. Like, if Taylor Swift was Karen Carpenter or Streisand or Linda Ronstadt or something, because I'm gonna mention Joni Mitchell creativity or something like that. or Patsy Cline or Early Leanne Rhymes, like like that. Or she had a Britney Spears song that she thought was cool or something. But this mediocrity, this whole this Barbie doll soft, like, oh God, no. I will give her hustle props. All right, game's cool. Can you do okay? I just don't. Marketing is great. You know, well, Mahomes and Kelsey, yeah, and I just don't get it with Taylor Swift. I don't hear the records. I don't hear. I know she did a song with Kendrick Lamar, but I'm like, no, no, she just soulless to me. And when Aretha Franklin said the best thing she could say about her was her gowns and her clothing, I thought Aretha could definitely shade and crack, but Aretha wasn't lying because I don't get it. I don't get it. And it's not like she's got a Shania Twain catchy songs or Faith Hill, just not for that hype. Um, yeah, he did because Kelsey was definitely loving the sisters. But I don't know what happened with all that with Kelsey's personal life. Kelsey seemed like a cool dude. I just don't know all the stuff. Again, we don't know. And I'm not into. I don't get into people's peanut butter and jelly like that to know how they get down. But she was a bad looking chick. I just don't know what happened with her and Kelsey. I don't know. But Kelsey's crossover, and he's I don't know what's all up. Alicia Keys is, if you're the number, depends on what we're talking about. Musically, yeah. Even though I'm not the biggest Alicia Keys fan, because I think that her singing hurts my ear and her playing is kind of hit and miss. I'm not the biggest AK fan, but yeah, compared to Taylor Swift, she's a second coming of Roberta Flack. Yes. Oh yeah, yeah, co-sign on both. Even though I'm not the biggest AK fan, co-sign on both. I think Mahomes and Kelsey, because they successful together and they won multiple rings and all that, and you know how he does those commercials with Andy Reid. But I don't think Mahomes is too invested in it because he just kind of like going along for the ride because it's part of the tie-in. And so one bag is going to acknowledge another bag is going to acknowledge another bag because you got to remember something right now. Mahomes is like the face of the NFL, so they're pushing the agenda. But I don't think he's going to sway one way or the other with it. You know, I don't think. But that for Kelsey more than anything. But yeah, um, yeah. So yeah, that's what I take on that. But that's some good comment, I think. Yeah, with that. Yeah, Brady and Giselle. Again, that was like a lot of history with that Romo and see Tony Romo and Jessica Simpson. Well, Jessica Simpson was that blonde bombshell for a moment, but she never cracked it like Taylor Swift. She was never that big. Giselle in the modeling world and association world, I think her and Brady were good for business. That's some kind of trade-off. Romo was playboy. Aretha, when you say she could outsing Whitney, Elder, who you talking about on that one? Who could outsing Whitney? I also want to ask you on that last one. You said could outsing Whitney. The female artists that I would say, as far as I singing Whitney, the only ones that come to mind, Aretha, but I mainly because of the fact of her versatility with her musical, like the song, she had more styles wise. Um, Gladys Knight, you know, strong steep. They're very few in that league, but Gladys for me. Gladys, Aretha, like in that style and stripe. Those ones like but Whitney Prime. But then again, if you get a chance to watch the video of Whitney back in, is it 85? It was in Houston and she performed, she did a cover of Lionel Richie's Love Will Find a Way. That Whitney was steeped in soul. You gotta hear that. That one. That old Whitney, that one, very few. Very few. Yeah, the thing about the NFL couple thing is that it don't. It's not like, I mean, baseball got romanticized. Marilyn Monroe, Joe DiMaggio made it more romanticized than anybody. Brady and Giselle always felt kind of contrived with that. I mean, it was there, but it didn't. Romo and Jessica Simpson, that were kind of like two pieces of the same pie because he was playboy, she was loose. You know, but it didn't really. He wasn't. He wasn't. He. It didn't enhance his career one or the other. He just had a playboy mind style. So you know, but you know, Kelsey is a bad dude though. Tight end, he comes correct. Okay, yeah, right on that. I got you. Yeah, I heard about that about Dame Lillard. I don't know. You know, Dame is one of those guys that to me, you know, it's kind of like what's he looking for? Because he talks about he wants to win, he wants to be loyal, but yeah, he tells Portland he wants to go to Miami and he tries to force a trade. I don't know. I heard that they split their cribs up. He gets to keep the main house. I don't know all the stuff with Dame. Dame just one of those kind of guys that kind of throws stuff out there. It's like he's playing darts in the dark and hope something stick. Can't tell if he really wants to be loved how he feel. The one thing he did say that did rub me the wrong way is he thinks he's better than Steph Curry. And I thought you out your natural everlasting mind. No. No, you don't trade Bam because Bam was one of the few bright spots in the finals against Denver. As a Heat fan, without Bam against Joker in that finals, we get blowed out easily. Blowed. Probably don't get past Boston. You got to keep Bam. No, I think Bam plays with a lot of heart, a lot of emotion, undersized, and still working on his game. And he's talking about working on a three ball. Because to me, the only problem I have with Bam is he don't score enough. Could get him to about 18 to 22 points a game, but I don't blame Pat Riley. No, you can't get guys like Bam every day. Yeah, I like the way he plays. I love his intangibles and intensity. So no, you don't make that trade. He wanted to get rid of them white boys. That's what he wanted to do. But Tyler Hero, nobody gonna touch Tyler Hero right now. Duncan Robinson played great in the finals because he been in the doghouse a lot. But them white boys combined, I don't. That's what they wanted to do. That's how they're trying to. They unload Tyler Hero. They want to unload him, you know, but they can't because nobody wants him. And to me, Pat Riley, who I do hold high regards as a coach, etc., he's sunk. He's sunk in the sea this year. He hasn't been able to get that big fish. That's his trademark. Not just getting good parts, but the money. He ain't came up with the money, dude. And I still think there's some backlash of how that when D Wade left Miami, people are kind of reluctant about going to Miami because he missed out on Durant, he missed out on Bradley Beal, he's missed out on Damian Lillard, and he missed out on Durant. You know, he missed out on some big fish. And his track record has been spotted. Only because they've gone to the Eastern Conference Finals with Jimmy Butler. They went to the finals, I meant to say, 2 of the last 3 years have been Eastern Conference Finals quite a bit. Is the only reason. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. The Suns' defense is going to be up for debate. They got a nice squad, though. I don't know if you got any teams right now that can win 70 games, though. That's a bit of a reach these days because, I mean, team has to really be. First of all, Kevin Durant doesn't play, but like 50, 60%. He's not playing the whole season. Booker has some great moments, and then he kind of tears off. So I don't know if you're going to go. I don't see a team in the NBA right now that I could put a 70 burger on. You know, I don't. I don't. I don't. Because you're going to tell me right now there's a team in the NBA that's going to rival what the Golden State Warriors did. There will be a team that comes along that will come close, but those teams happen once every 10, 15 years. They don't, and I don't see nothing that. I think Phoenix is going to be good, but I don't know if they that kind of team. They good though. If their defense is accurate, if they get the bench is the key, and they can keep Durant healthy, motivated, focused. They got no excuses now because they got rid of DeAndre, so they got a clean house, so they could be a problem. To me, they're probably the only team that could get into Denver's way. They should be the only team to get in Denver's way in the West, if you want my honest opinion. The only. And if depends on what Golden State comes back like with Steph and them. So it all depends on that. But barring that, I don't know. I don't know. But they'll be good. I don't know. And of course, let's not sleep on Sacramento. We'll see how good they are. But I don't see a 70 win team. Yeah, I just got to saying Sacramento. Mike Brown, one of the best coaches in the NBA. Underrated. People don't give him his due. They're coming. They're coming. All right, I'm gonna call it a day with that. We'll catch you next time. We'll get you out. Peace and the best, and thanks for coming through. Right on. All right, I'm out.